Hey there guys, Matthew here from the Daleks, joined by Liv today. Unfortunately, Jacob is too busy to be here for the review. But Happy New Year to everybody and to all of our wonderful subscribers. It is of course 2019 and we are here to review our only episode of 2019.
Yay!
Which of course is the New Year's Day special Resolution, which we've not made any bones about on the channel. We have stressed many times and explained since the end of Series 11 that this was a very big episode for us, and it was an episode that we felt needed to hit the mark to send us into this year off with a little bit of momentum, a little bit of happiness when it comes to Doctor Who. So of course, before we start, if you want to listen to this review and any other reviews on the go, you can just search for the Who Addicts on your chosen podcast provider. You can then listen to us on the go wherever you are, wherever you want. So, as we said, Resolution. Bit of pressure on this one for me, and for you too, Liv. So, did Resolution send you into this year without Doctor Who happy?
It did and it didn't.
It did and it didn't.
It did and it didn't.
So that's very interesting.
Yes. What about you?
I think it did. I made a bit of noise about it, how much as I said in my video, why it has to succeed. It didn't succeed on all grounds.
No.
In fact, when I look at a couple of points I made in that video, it didn't succeed in a few of them, as much as I would have liked it to. But I think it was a step up from what we've had in Series 11.
Yes, definitely.
I think a lot of the things that we've been crying out for, we got.
In this episode, yeah.
Yeah, which is a relief.
Thank God.
To say.
Thank God.
Yeah. So, anyway, it didn't. We've not really spoke that much about this episode, considering we've watched it together, we lived together. We've not actually spoken that much. So, we don't have a clue what either of us think. So, let's start off with the very beginning then. It started off with a lovely sequence showing the battle in the 9th century, the Dalek getting buried across different parts of the world. It showed a bit of scale. And it showed, of course, what happened, and it sort of zoomed that and transitioned into present day.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the opening couple of sequences setting up the story?
That was nice, and also what was nice is that we were all expecting a normal Dalek, but overall, was there what we got?
First out the left scar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
that was nice.
Yeah, I really liked the twist and the different direction and approach that they had in this episode. I thought the start of it was a great start. Just showing things happening around the world. It just instantly made the whole thing feel a little bit bigger. But yeah, as soon as obviously when you realise that they've buried a Dalek, you think, well, how the hell have they buried a Dalek? You can't bury a Dalek. So it sort of made sense that we were dealing with a mutant as opposed to the actual Dalek, which I thought was a fantastic
and so
approach.
Creepy. Oh.
The opening couple
look
of scenes.
at it on the wall. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Well creepy, that.
It was.
Creepy.
It was quite creative as well, because we always bang on about how difficult it is for the writers to keep coming up with brand new Dalek stories.
Yeah.
And to constantly, change it up from there's a Dalek that's landed on Earth, it wants to take over the Earth.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
So I thought that it was quite creative of Chris Chibnall. I've got to give him that he didn't just go with a normal Dalek, because if you think about it, we look at a Dalek and the domes and the gun and the eye shield and everything. That's not really what the Dalek is.
No.
That's its tank.
Yeah. Armour.
The actual Dalek is this horrible,
mutant
disgusting,
inside.
slimy mutant. And for them to use that, it was kind of nice because it showed what the actual Dalek is. And in the opening couple of scenes, seeing it on the wall, it looked disgusting, and then to see it take over
around her body, I thought, Christ, now that is scary and threatening, all in once.
That's what I really liked about it. It was threatening, it was original, but it was creative, and we saw the actual Dalek in its true form still be as clever.
Oh, very clever.
And as manipulative and as evil as they always have been.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it really does show how good the Daleks are, stripping it back and just having the mutant. I thought that was really good.
And also on the Dalek, like overall story, what I was impressed with Chibnall for this, that like I found this Dalek story he written more threatening than Moffat's Dalek stories.
Yeah, definitely.
If you get what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I think it'll be fun to maybe compare this Dalek story to the others at the end, and maybe rank where it might be in all of the modern series. Because there was some comments about how great it was that I thought were a bit too much. But then there was some...
there was Dalek, that's the best episode of all time for me.
Exactly.
And nowhere near to that level.
Yeah.
But it was still good.
Yeah, it was. It was very good. So, obviously the Dalek appears on Earth. It takes away this woman. The Doctor arrives, finds out that it is a Dalek. And I think we might as well start with the Doctor. I mean, one of the things that I was crying out for was for her to confront a villain that she knows and a villain that knows her, so that we can really see what her Doctor's going to be like put in the situation. And I don't think a Doctor can be put in a more difficult situation than with the Daleks.
Exactly.
It's her greatest foe. She has fought them time and time again. They cost her Gallifrey in the Time War. I mean, the history there is mental. So this is the ultimate test for the Doctor and for Jodie. So, a lot of build-up, a lot of expectation. Did Jodie deliver on meeting the Daleks for the first time? It's a big moment for her. Every Doctor's judged upon meeting the Daleks. Did she deliver?
No.
She didn't?
No.
Wow.
And now...
Why? Tell me more.
Watching that episode last night, literally, all I felt was doing was like bashing my head against the wall saying, Chibnall, why are you frustrating me so much now? This is what gets me. A scene was like towards the end was Bella Hare and the Dalek. I thought was brilliant. Yes, yes, come on, Jodie, you're finally getting it. And then all of a sudden, the stupid, childish, silly dialogue appeared. And what? Well, what did it do? Thrown me off her again.
Was that at the very end when she turned around to the whole team and was like, "Was that good? Was that good? Did I do that well?" Sort of thing.
Family, gang, best friends, but yet again in the whole episode, far too much rambling on. Still, all she seems to do is talk, and more talking, and then more talking. Like there I'm sat there saying, "Come on, Jodie, come on, just get going, do something." But no, it still doesn't. And I've been thinking all day, what is it with her that I'm not connecting to? And do you know what it is? Is that I'm finding her Doctor too human, if you get what I mean. Yeah,
I can completely see that. There are definitely similarities to the Fifth Doctor, and he is my least favourite Doctor. And one of the reasons to that is because I found him too human and a little bit too... I don't know how to describe it, but, apart from the case of Androzani, where he was a different class, completely, I'm so glad he went out on that story. So yeah, I thought that Jodie was much better in this episode. I thought when she found out it was a Dalek, you could see the fear in her eyes.
Yeah.
And I liked, there was some great lines in there where she was saying, I just can't ever get rid of them.
Yeah.
And I just thought, that's that. She felt like the Doctor.
Yeah.
And then when she went to confront it at the farm, the intent, the tension
was good, that scene.
In that scene, it was unbearable. Because you knew the Dalek had formed.
Yeah.
And you were waiting for that moment. And when she did confront the Dalek, I thought she was terrific. and then she jumps over, she's doing roly-poly, she's trying to dodge a Dalek, a bit of action.
Yeah.
I thought, this is brilliant.
But finally,
Exactly.
finally, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, I thought in 13's own little way, and yes, she can be very humorous and a bit cheeky and whatever.
Childlike.
And childlike.
Very childlike and annoying.
Yeah, for her doctor and who her doctor isn't, we all know how to take a doctor and to sort of what expect. I thought it was a pretty good confrontation.
Yeah.
It's not on the levels of 9.
No.
And the Dalek.
10.
It's not on that level. It's not maybe on 10's level. I don't know, but I thought she did a pretty good job. And even at the end, when she confronted it again, I thought the end scene was a little bit of a letdown with her and, saying, me and me mates and fam, I thought, that was a bit... I can see what you mean by that. But every other scene with her and the Dalek, I thought was very, very good. I really did like it.
It's just with me that there's, for some reason, with her doctor, is because there I am there's like some scenes I like her in it.
Yeah.
It's hard one with me with her.
Hard. I do think, I'm just talking about the scenes with her and the Daleks. I thought were very good.
Yeah.
I thought the important scenes between her and the Dalek were great. I did have the same forever going problem that she did ramble again.
Oh, like Christ, just shut up for a second and just do something a sec from bloody talk.
In the TARDIS especially, there was a lot of...
talking.
She...
Too much talking.
It's not her fault. It's the way that Chibnall's Who's been all series.
Yeah.
Everything gets explained ridiculously.
A dozen times.
And she's coming out with all these techno-babble lines, and whereas with maybe other doctors, like 10, for example, them techno-babble lines seemed very natural. Seemed very, that the doctor, was coming out with them genuine lines. With Jodie, sometimes it feels forced. You can sort of feel like she is trying to remember reading off a script. They have not come naturally. And I don't think her doctor suits the whole techno-babble.
I don't.
Because she explains things way too much. And it sort of, as a viewer, makes you feel a bit silly. You're like, well, I know that. I know that's what's happening. You don't have to go into that much detail. It just makes you kind of go, okay, I get it. It's an ever-growing problem with a doctor. But I thought, apart from the constant exposition and... over-explanatory scenes, which we are just going to keep on getting with Chibnall's Who, I thought, for the rest of it, I thought she was pretty good. She always has that scene in her where she'll turn around and say, was that good? Did I do that well? Did I show him too much compassion? And I get that because...
But why?
I think it's because...
Why do it? You're the doctor. They're not the doctor. You are the doctor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that for me is so bloody irritating. It's like so irritating. Like, did I do my right gang? I'm like, shut up, woman! Shut up! Just shut up! Oh, God.
It's the sort of scene I'd accept at the start of her...
Yeah, like
she's discovering...
First episode.
She's discovering who she is.
Fine.
But
first episode, fine. But, like...
She should know what she's doing. She should be in complete control. She should know exactly... I can sort of see it from a certain perspective. She's still she's unsure on how to do things and how to deal with villains.
Why though? Still, why still?
I think maybe her doctor's just not for you.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I'm still undecided. I think she's okay, and I thought this episode, and I in my video when I was talking about how this episode needs to succeed for her. The main things I wanted from her, I got in this episode.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that she had the scene with the Dalek. And when she said, scan me, look me up.
Yeah.
The Dalek backed away.
Yeah,
I was like, and then she jumps away and the Dalek shoots her, and I was like, yes, this is what I want.
Here we go!
And that scene was perfect, and I thought, this is better, this is what I wanted. But then there's always the scene in her where she's confronting the Dalek, me and me mates, and then she'll turn around like, was that good? And I'm like, that was good. Believe in yourself, trust yourself, you're the doctor, have that confidence, have that swagger. She doesn't have that confident swagger like I'm the cleverest person in the room. She doesn't have that. And I guess it's that arrogance in a good way. When the doctor's...
Yeah.
The doctor knows that she is the cleverest person in the room, can own a room, take over, dominate. Maybe she needs to do that a bit more. But overall, I was happy with her in this. So let's go on to the other elephant in the room then. A lot of hype and expectation, and a lot of talk about what the Dalek was going to look like, how the Dalek was going to be. Was it going to be a mix of a 60s Dalek? Was it going to be another bronze Dalek? Was it going to be something brand new? What sort of Dalek was it going to be? Obviously, we spoke about how good we thought it was when it was the mutant, but when it did, obviously it took over the police officers. Some great action scenes in them sequences, by the way. The car chase. Brilliant. I thought that was the action that, again, I've been craving the series. So I thought the pacing of things was much better. But when we did see the Dalek finally, I know for a fact you were a little bit
because I looked at it, and then all I thought in my head is that Dalek, just to me, was just toy-like in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like these toys on wheels that just slids off. But then in my head, I was thinking, well, don't judge it by its proper appearance yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because I think there was a lot of excitement behind it, and I think a lot of people expected a lot.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, I guess, because it's always exciting. We've had the Bronze Daleks all for
a while now.
How many years are we going now? Almost 14 years. We've had Bronze Daleks. The paradigms fell on their face. So yeah, a lot of people were excited to see something new. So I can understand a lot of people and I can understand the disappointment when seeing that this Dalek appear that wasn't, is it right saying a proper Dalek? I mean, it was made up by bits and pieces.
Just parts, wasn't it? Like spare parts, pretty much.
Yeah, and I sort of admire that because it's creative and it's different again.
Yeah.
But we're greedy, and we wanted to see a brand new Dalek design. We wanted to see a proper Dalek, if that makes sense. But
for me, apart from the look of it, it sounded amazing, and for me, like the first time in a long time, there I was just scared of that Dalek again.
Yeah, I was. I thought, look, I wasn't 100%.
No.
I was, and they'd mentioned it was a reconnaissance Dalek, and I thought that was, introducing a brand new, I believe it's a brand new Dalek.
Clever.
Great idea. The first one to leave
Clever
Skaro.
idea. Very clever.
Again, it's original. But I think we all wanted to see what this great almighty first Dalek would have looked like.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a tease. Maybe that's going to be in the future.
I hope so.
And I
do
hope
hope so.
But in terms of what the Dalek did...
Oh, now that scene, the tank scene, and then bullets just erupted from his bullet and blown us up. I was like, Jesus, now that is good. Now that is good.
I will say in confidence that this is the best that a Dalek has been since
Russell.
Journey's End.
Yeah, since Russell. Yeah.
I think it is the best a Dalek has been on screen for over a decade, without a doubt. I thought the action sequences when it destroyed the army of soldiers was unbelievable. It was brutal how it was just exterminating them. It felt like the Dalek had in Dalek. I thought it was, and then
similar.
I thought it was just as good in them scenes. And when the tank shot a rocket, and the Dalek chopped the rocket in half, but then still blew up the tank.
Just incredible.
I mean, what a scene! And cinematic, it looked unbelievable.
Yeah, it did.
But yeah, it just I think it went a long way this episode to showing how clever and how ruthless and deadly the Daleks are. And I think that's one thing Chibnall has definitely got.
Yeah.
Is how deadly the Daleks are and ruthless and merciless. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I thought it was brilliant. So aside from the main story, obviously we've established that the Dalek didn't potentially look great, but what it was doing was amazing. We also had this sort of secondary plot going on, which, as we know, Chibnall likes to do in episodes. He likes to have these nice character moments.
Characters, yes.
And
characters.
As much as it obviously came into, the episode, all sort of the two separate stories, which were running parallel, sort of come together at the end. We learned a lot about Ryan's dad in this episode. His dad come back, and obviously throughout the episode there were some scenes between him and Ryan, and then Ryan and Graham and his dad. So, what did you think of the bits on the side with with Ryan's dad?
I found them just pointless a bit. Bit pointless, and where I'm coming from is that I thought all that, like them scenes or that character arc, all of that, so could have happened in series 12 maybe.
Yeah, I can see that. Or series 10.
Yeah, or 11.
Sorry, 11.
We've just
10.
had.
Where am I going?
But yeah, do you know where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I sort of appreciated the scenes for what they were, because it was nice to see, after what's happened with Grace and how he's lost, he's lost his mum, then he's lost his nan, his dad then finally comes back. I sort of liked and appreciated them scenes because I thought it brought the best out of Tosin Cole.
Yeah, it did.
I thought he was brilliant in this episode. And also some good scenes with Graham as well.
Oh, as always.
As always. But...
Yaz?
We'll get to Yaz. I thought that these scenes were a bit out of place in the episode.
Yeah.
And, the Dalek scenes and the scenes where the Doctor was trying to track the Dalek down, she was following it through space and obviously found it to the farm and then was following it across the country. The pacing of this episode was amazing. And it was a much quicker pace than we've had in series
11.
Yeah. And I think this episode needed to pick the pace up. That's one of the main issues I had with series 11. But every time I was in that moment, waiting to see the Dalek, what's it going to do next? Is the Doctor going to catch it? It then just cut to
Ryan and his dad.
Yeah, sat in a cafe talking. And as much as I appreciated them scenes, I was sort of sat there saying, I like this.
Come on!
But I don't want to see this.
Yeah.
I was...
Move on.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was sort of wanting them deep down to just hurry it up.
Yeah,
because
I was.
I want to get back to this other...
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciated them scenes, but I wasn't really interested.
No.
Because there was something much more exciting happening in the other side of it. So, and I sort of think that you could have maybe took a couple of minutes off them scenes and added it to making the Dalek look even better.
Yeah.
So,
I have a question from, a part of the story was the whole unit thing.
Oh, yes.
What did you think?
I thought it was a stupid idea.
Yeah.
God, this actually created more of a argument on Twitter than the rest of the episode did.
Because to me, I would think having unit being called up makes this Dalek more threatening than ever. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, it makes the whole stakes raised even more.
So much higher.
Yeah. Well, I thought the fact that she rang them in the first place made it seem...
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. And it was just a nice nod anyway to the previous era.
Yeah.
Because, this series so far has not felt as connected to previous eras, which you sort of get. You got it in series 5. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
A new showrunner wants to come in and stamp their side of the show
That's
on.
fine.
So it was a lovely reference. And I think the fact that she even tried to ring them in that scene, she did seem pretty desperate, which was nice because it really showed that she needed the help. But the way that it was, the woman in the call centre answers and says, unit have been, they've been discontinued for financial reasons. I'm like, it's flipping unit. And I don't know if this is, and Chibnall said this in an interview, that Doctor Who should, what was the word he used? I can't remember the exact word, but it should sort of portray or recognise real world events. So,
But how though?
well, people think it was all to do with Brexit.
Oh, get a grip, Chibnall.
And I honestly, and this is one of the biggest arguments that's come out of Doctor Who, is this whole political thing. Doctor Who is trying to, it's trying to
Driving me mad.
send out messages, relate to the real world and all that, which is all fair and good. But I just thought that this was a bit on the nose. Saying that UNIT, they don't have fun. It's UNIT, for God's sake.
Yeah, but what gets me, this is a bloody goddamn TV show, not real life.
I think he's touching upon real life issues a little bit too much.
Far too much. Far too much.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough saying, we can't get in touch with you. I mean, I think they once in a previous story, I think they tried to get in touch with Brigadier. I think it was the Suntaran stratagem podcast guy. They said, we can't get in touch with the Brigadier. He's stranded in Peru. Just a line like that. Just so we can't get in touch with Kate Stewart. She's stranded on another mission.
That's fine.
But saying that they've been completely disbanded, I mean, it's UNIT.
Come on, Chibnall, what are you playing at?
They don't just get took down by the government. UNIT have been around since the classic series. They are bigger and they are more beyond that. And I just thought it was a cheap line. It shows that maybe Chibnall doesn't quite get UNIT.
No.
And, part of me was disappointed to not see them.
I was.
And I thought there was a little bit of an anticlimax to it all. But the whole, they've not been funded, is there anyone else you can put me through to? I was a bit like, come on,
Chibnall. Get a frickin' grip.
And it just sort of hinders future stories. I mean, I saw, some people have said, well, it makes it seem like the Doctor's more on her own than ever because all the potential help she has gone. But, it was the reasoning for it. The idea of UNIT not being there is fine, but it's just the whole reasoning, the explanation. It was stupid. And I didn't get it at all. I thought it was...
I didn't get it.
Yeah, it was pretty daft, to be honest. So, we've spoke about the Doctor. I think it's fair to say that Ryan Tosin Cole had one of his best performances, although he didn't really do much in the whole of the story.
No.
The scenes he had with his dad...
With his dad were good.
Yeah, were very good. Graham, didn't do much either, but still had nice scenes.
Was still good. Yes? Again, I just feel like hitting my head against a brick wall and saying she just does bloody nothing apart from follow the Doctor about, ask questions, follows orders, that is it. What is the point of having her in the story?
There isn't one. That's the simple truth. And, I've said this before, the whole character arc, and the closest we had to a story arc in Series 11 was Ryan and Graham losing Grace.
Yeah.
So that instantly puts Yaz out in the cold a little bit. Instantly makes her, third wheeling the whole TARDIS team throughout the series. But that series is done now, and I think bringing Ryan's dad into it again puts the focus on Ryan, puts the focus on Graham.
And not on Yaz.
And again, she met the side characters, I can't remember their names. But, and she was the one who was like, come in the TARDIS. Yeah. It's great, it's bigger on the inside. She had lines where, once again, they're nice little lines, but if you take her out the story, and this is just deja vu of what we've said before, take her out the story, what difference do you get? Nothing.
But this, to me,
it's the same old.
The problem is, with having a big TARDIS team, someone is... always going to be third wheeling it.
Yeah, especially with how Chibnall's written the character arc of Ryan and Graham.
I get that.
He's cornered himself a little bit. So again, Yaz she was inconsequential. And Chibnall has promised that in Series 12 we'll get a story arc based around Yaz, and for God's sake, I hope he's right.
Please do.
I hope he's right.
Please do.
But for this episode and Series 11, she's had no impact, unfortunately.
Same old, really, isn't it?
Yeah, which is a damn shame. So, the story concludes then. We have the Doctor, she picks up Graham and Ryan's dad, and they corner the Dalek in, I can't remember what quite the building was, but the Dalek was trying to transmit a signal to basically alert the fleet.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a great ending. Because I honestly did not know if I wanted the Dalek to summon the fleet or not, because part of me was saying, they can't do that because that's just too much of a big conclusion. How the hell are they going to get rid of a big fleet of Daleks unless... And this is the only way I think they could have done it. The Dalek could have summoned the fleet, cliffhanger. And I would have been sat there crying for a year because there's a Dalek fleet coming. And I thought that would have been a perfect cliffhanger. But the alternative was to not, stop the Dalek before it does that. So I thought both sort of worked well. So I thought it was a very good ending. Apart from the fact the Dalek was and it worked, scientifically, you don't put metal in an oven and all this stuff. You don't stick a spoon in, because things will explode. I don't know the chemical stuff behind it. I'm not a scientist, but as logical as it was...
killed by a microwave, basically.
Yeah, as logical as it was, it kind of sucked. A bit. Although it didn't kill the Dalek, it just killed its armour.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit sort of... Yeah.
I would have liked, just for me, and this long gap, I just would have loved a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Just something that really grips you for next series.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's one thing that we've not had much of.
No.
We had one cliffhanger at the end of The Woman Who Fell to Earth.
And
that was it.
Yeah, that's it with it.
So I think this would have been a perfect opportunity for a cliffhanger. I think every episode has been too sort of...
Safe.
Let's wrap it all in a big bow and that's it. Conclude it, wrap it up.
Safe, I'd say safe.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'd say safe.
It's been very sort of wrap it up, it's done, we'll move on now. And I think, with a year gap, I think if they would, even if they'd have gone on with the whole destroyed the armour, the mutant survives, which it did, and, I thought that was a great twist.
That was good.
I
like, yeah.
As much as destroying it with an oven was a bit like...
a microwave.
Yeah, a microwave oven or whatever it was. As much as that was a little bit like... when we turned and the Dalek was wrapped around Ryan's dad, I instantly was like, oh my god, I gasped. And I thought, good. And I guess that showed what the whole point of the scenes with Ryan and his dad were for. They were to build up this relationship so that we'd have this big ending for them both.
But I'd have liked maybe Ryan's dad getting killed.
Yeah.
And then that would, to me, show the consequences of Ryan and the Doctor. To me, all I'd say for the word is too safe.
Yeah.
Far too safe, yet.
There was a sort of part of me that was hoping that he did get dragged into the supernova. Not because I hate his dad or anything.
No.
But I think there has been that element of, villains. We've not had many villains that have died or been killed in the series. We've not had many characters that have been...
died.
Main characters. Yes, we've had, NPCs like the army, people who get killed by the, the villain. That was fantastic. But, significant characters, apart from Grace... I don't think anyone significant has, maybe Prem, but he was as wooden as a fucking doorpost. So, yeah, I think maybe it would have been a slightly better ending to... But at the same time, I do want to see sort of where their relationship goes. So, I'm torn on that. But my preferred ending would have been... And I think the way this episode ended was good. It was a good ending. I just think it could have been done better. And I think utilising the year off we have, I think the perfect way of doing it would have been that, they destroy the casing and we discover that the Dalek is still alive, as it was in the episode. I thought that was a perfect twist, brilliant. And I did like how the Doctor was willing. She didn't even hesitate when the Dalek said, take me to the fleet, otherwise, I kill this guy.
Yeah.
The Doctor didn't hesitate. She didn't care if he died. She said, yeah, I'll take you straight away. Didn't even think about it because she wants to get rid of the Daleks. I thought it was ruthless of her. But what I would have liked at the very end is, whether it meant Ryan's dad dying or not, the Dalek mutant gets sucked out into the supernova. His dad does or his dad doesn't, I don't care. But then as the Dalek mutant is flying into space, you think that there's no fleet there. And then, boom.
Yeah.
Perception filter... or they've got some invisibility thing on or whatever, the Doctor's like, we've got rid of the mutant, off it goes, bang. These frickin' ships appear, big orchestral Dalek theme from Series 1 or whatever, brand new theme, so whatever. I just think if at the very end the fleet appears anywhere and the Doctor's face drops, boom, it ends.
Ends, just like, yeah.
And we're sat here for a whole year.
Yeah, thinking, oh my god.
Yeah, what the frickin' hell's going to happen?
Exactly.
So that's my preferred ending. But I still think the ending we had was good.
Yeah, it was alright.
Obviously if the Dalek had its real casing, it would have been killed by an oven, I guess. So, yeah. A couple of other quick notes that I think we need to mention is this episode looked incredible.
Sounded good again.
The scenes with the TARDIS flying through the vortex,
Very
the
good.
scene at the start with the New Year's fireworks.
That was nice.
I thought, Doctor Who, it does look better than ever.
Yeah, it
just
does look good.
It looks better than it's ever done before. And the music, again, was amazing.
Very good.
It was directed extremely well, shot very well. It looked...
As always, though.
Yeah.
As always. Like Series 11 was.
Yeah.
Very good like that.
The whole production of this series and this episode was phenomenal. So yeah, anything else to mention? We've sort of went through all the characters, the Dalek. There was the scene, the Netflix scene, where
Pointless.
the family were just like, we're going to have a conversation, which
Pointless.
fell flat on its arse for me.
Pointless.
A bit of a silly gag, another thing that's being brought up.
Forced humour, I found a bit like forced humour.
A little bit.
Move on, Chibnall.
Yeah, it's like,
Move
Chibnall,
on.
don't do comedy.
No, please don't do comedy.
We don't want to see you live at the O2. So yeah, I can't think of anything else to really say. So ratings and conclusions, I guess. I'm going to quickly start by saying Jacob has given us his rating.
Oh, I guess.
And Jacob gave it a 9 out of 10.
Bloody 9.
A 9 out of 10. So, what are we going to give it?
You go first.
Right, okay.
Because I always go first, so it's your turn to go first.
Right, well, I thought Resolution was a very big step in the right direction. I thought it was a very, very good episode. I really enjoyed it. It had a lot of things in it that I've been missing from Series 11. The pacing picked up, the stakes were raised. We had a villain in it, obviously, with the Daleks, that thankfully was done extremely well. A lot of people were concerned if they bugger up the Daleks. There's no going back for Chibnall. But I will credit Chibnall. He did the Daleks better than Moffat did.
He did.
The Daleks were better. The Dalek in this episode was better than it has been in over a decade, since Russell. The look was a little bit disappointing. I think we'd have all liked to have seen what the actual Dalek would have looked like, but, in its full suit and stuff. But that might be for the future. But in terms of what it did, it was brutal. And that's what I want from the Daleks. The Doctor was good. I thought her scenes with the Dalek were good enough, but she still had them same problems with over-exposition and stuff like that. The companions were good in what they did, but again, it didn't have much impact on the story. Sidecast, I thought the two members of Sidecast we had... Very good. I enjoyed them. And just the overall look and everything episode was just very enjoyable. I think there's just a few small nitpicks, like a few scenes that were a little bit out of place, how the ending could have been done a bit differently and stuff like that. So, I'm going to give Resolution an 8 out of 10.
Fair rating.
Very solid.
Fair rating.
But of course, there are things that it could have done better.
Could be done better.
Yeah.
If I have a rating in mind, and I'm going to stick to it. Overall, it was good. The Dalek stuff, I love the Dalek stuff. But here I am, again, just still having the same problem with Jodie's Doctor.
Yeah.
It's not happening yet with me.
I agree, yeah. I wouldn't say it's happening for me 100%. It's a step in the right direction, but over the course of the series, there should have been so much more to come from her. But so overall, I think a 7.5 I'm going to give it. That's not as bad as I thought.
Well, what did you think?
I was expecting a 6 or
something.
So that's a good rating.
Ain't that bad.
No. I think it's safe to say it was a very good episode.
Yes.
obviously there's just things.
The Doctor, that.
Yeah, just the general sort of, I'd call them chibnalisms.
Chibnalism.
You know, just
Chibnalism.
being a bit too over descriptive.
Chibnall, stop being Chibnall.
Yeah, just a few things that just sort of, just make it a little bit more of a jarring watch than it should be.
Yeah.
I just miss the quick wittiness a little bit. So yeah, that there's just a few things here and there. So this episode, we'll finish on this. There's been some, and obviously on Twitter it goes bloody mental after an episode.
Of course it
Some
does.
saying that this was dreadful. I know, and I don't want to spoil this review, but Ben from Norse Productions wasn't a fan at all.
No! Go on, Ben! Go on,
This review
Ben!
will be fun. And then there was some people saying it's the best Dalek episode since Remembrance of the Daleks.
Oh, well, of course, I figured would.
So, where do you think this episode stands in terms of Dalek stories?
You don't think it sub-beats any of Russell's? I just don't. But Moffat, it does. So I'd say, so after Russell's maybe. I would put it. What about you?
Yeah, I'd say, since it's the best since Remembrance, that's a step too far for me.
Have you seen Dalek?
Yeah. And, a lot,
Have you seen Dalek?
some people have made a lot of comparisons to Dalek to say it took a lot of aspects from Dalek.
Yeah, it did.
The killing of the soldier scene, just the one Dalek.
Yeah, one Dalek.
But that works, so...
Nowhere near as good as Dalek.
No, it's no Dalek. And I think one of the reasons for that is because of Nine and the Daleks' history and rivalry at that point in time. It will never be matched.
My favourite episode ever.
Yeah.
To this day.
I don't think it quite beats the Series 2 finale or the Series 4 finale.
No.
But it might have a chance at beating the Series 3 Human Dalek episode. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe, but...
It takes a big, massive Dalek-sized dump on Victory and Asylum.
Yeah.
And into the Dalek and the pilot, if you even want to class that as a Dalek story.
Not really.
So I think it's definitely up there, and it's one of the better ones. I think Chibnall's really, really done himself good with this Dalek story.
Yeah. Thankfully, he has done that good.
Yeah. And
Hallelujah.
in terms of sci-fi and writing a Doctor Who villain, it's probably one of the better stories he's written.
Yes.
Yay,
we're getting somewhere, Chibnall.
I want to commend him with that. So yeah, it's an 8 from me, a 7.5 from you, and a 9 from Jacob.
9
who unfortunately can't be with us today, but will hopefully just explain his opinions in our Series 11 overview video, which will hopefully be coming in, hopefully a week or so time, as soon as we can get it recorded. As well as that, I'm going to be bringing you my best and worst possible series, of course.
I look forward to that.
The annual event
of the year
is coming up. We've got ranking episodes in the series. Where does Series 11 fall in the modern series of Doctor Who? The retro reviews are going to be coming back, as Liv has just reminded me, later on in the year, as well as loads of other videos that I've got a long list of videos that we're going to hopefully get done for you guys.
Tuned in.
Yes. So please do like this video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are almost at 16,000 subscribers now. We are so close. So if we can just help us over the line, that'd be amazing. My 16,000 subscriber video has been filmed, but it is currently having some copyright issues, which I'll hopefully be able to fix. Comment below your thoughts on the episode and leave your views below. And if you want to support the channel, do so on Patreon and follow us across all the social media. But yeah, we've got so much content to come in 2019, so do stick around, do subscribe. And until then, thank you very much for watching. Again, a very happy new year to you all, and we'll see you next time.